BART seats could be infected with a harmful bacteria. Coming up next on State of Events, we talk with BART and the person at San Francisco State that conducted the study.
Ecstasy use is on the rise. Find out what E does to your body and your brain. Up next on State of Events.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of State of Events. I'm Brenda Cancino.
And I'm Allie Williams. Thanks for tuning in. Our top story today. BART is the Bay Area's most used transit system with over 300,000 people riding its rails on an average weekday. With so many people using the commuter service, its cloth seats and handrails are gathering infectious bacteria. Colin Ligon joins us now to tell us about a new study by a San Francisco State microbiologist. It calls into question just how clean the BART system really is. Colin?
Well, Allie, the study was done by a San Francisco State scientist in conjunction with the Bay Citizen newspaper. Its goal was to find out just what lives in those cushy BART seats, and when it was done, it provided some eye-opening results. Although BART and other forms of public transportation are the most environmental way to commute, the cleanliness of the actual trains has recently been called into question.
On both the BART seats and the Muni seats, that we do have microbes growing on it, like you're supposed to have microbes. They're everywhere.
According to a study by SFSU microbiologist Darlene Franklin, the seats on BART in particular are harboring a dirty secret.
But then I found there was antibiotic-resistant microbes on the BART seats from two colonies, bacterial colonies that I isolated.
The bacteria that was found will not necessarily make a healthy person sick, but for some riders, the thought of it is still off-putting.
It's disgusting.
Despite the report that there's harmful bacteria on handrails and on seats, BART says they're doing all that they can to keep trains clean and passengers safe.
We spend about $600,000 a year dry cleaning the seats. So 300 to 500 per week get dry cleaned. And then also we're going through about 50 to 100 cars a year and replacing everything.
BART says they hope to avoid this cleaning problem in the future. The next fleet of trains, scheduled for implementation in 2017, will feature seats that are easier to clean.
And the seats may no longer be appropriate as is. So they can hold germs as opposed to a smoother surface that can be wiped down and cleaned nightly.
Now, BART is looking for help from the public. They want your help in choosing the next generation of seats. If you have an opinion on what you would like to see on the next BART trains, go to stateofevents.tv and click on the BART Seats link. This has been Colin Ligon reporting live in the newsroom for State of Events.
Now, Colin, you said that there were different types of organisms found on the BART seats. What exactly did they find?
Well, the scientist that did the study told me that she found a drug-resistant form of MRSA, which is a skin-borne bacteria that would normally enter through an open wound. So if someone is healthy, they will most likely be okay and should not have to worry about anything.
What is it that makes BART seats more prone to bacteria than Muni seats, and how exactly does this bacteria get onto BART?
Well, 300,000 people ride BART every day, which is an awful lot, and they bring on whatever they encounter throughout the day, and that could often be bacteria. Now, the BART seats are more difficult to clean than Muni seats. They're cloth and they have several layers, whereas the Muni seats are plastic and they can be wiped down clean.
Thanks for that report, Colin.
It may be illegal, but more and more are using ecstasy to get high. Amanda Batat tells us how some of the risks that come with popping a pill.
After a teenager died last year and hundreds of people were injured at the Electric Daisy Carnival, ecstasy and the rave scene are under a lot of scrutiny. Here's a look at the side effects and health risks for this popular drug.
Raves like this one are cropping up everywhere. But along with the increasing popularity of raves is the growing trend of ecstasy use. MDMA, or ecstasy, is an illegal stimulant often called the love drug. But love isn't all this pill has to offer.
The chemical right now is synthesized illegally, so it's hard to know what you get, which I think is one of the bigger risks.
This ecstasy user didn't want to be identified on camera, but had plenty to say about the drug.
It's fun because when you take it, it pretty much, you feel amazing. I'm not gonna lie, like everything feels hella good. You feel hella, like you're hella friendly, everyone's friendly that's on it. Once you're in, it's just, you just love doing it.
Though ecstasy can create feelings of happiness and self-worth, it's still a very potent drug that lands many of its users right here in the emergency room.
It's a stimulant, so it increases heart rate, can increase blood pressure, temperature, delirium, tremors, a very sort of irritable type of response that requires sometimes hospitalization.
For people who do use E, LA County Department of Public Health has this advice: take frequent breaks, stay hydrated, and don't drive.
You can find these tips and full interviews on our website, www.stateofevents.tv. Back to you guys.
Students here at SF State, along with City College, are rallying against Governor Jerry Brown's budget cut proposal. James Martinez joins us now to tell us what these cuts could mean for the CSU system.
Thanks, Allie. The CSU system is making drastic cuts and tuition increases, making higher education a much more difficult goal. The proposed budget cut means that SF State would have a $32 million deficit, and that means even higher tuition costs. Students and faculty gathered in the Malcolm X Plaza to protest budget cuts in a statewide day of action.
This is about students standing up and asserting our rights as students.
The picketing took place as a result of Governor Jerry Brown's proposal to cut $500 million from the UC and CSU system. SF State students, along with CCSF students, marched from San Francisco State to CCSF to voice their opposition.
Community colleges, state colleges, the university are the ones that are cut. And then looking for more money, people look to the prisons or to public safety. Now, those are what are there, but I'm just laying it out the way it is. This is just the facts.
The budget cut would leave SFSU with a $32 million deficit. Dean for the College of Education, Jacob Perea, comments on the importance of higher education.
The reality is that in this state alone, and probably by 2020, so not too long, there will be a need of maybe 3 million workers who have bachelor's degrees, minimum.
Public universities are economic engines providing the education for 150,000 California jobs.
If we're not getting the funding and the tools we need, then it's going to be a harsh future.
Last year's Day of Action rally helped restore nearly $200 million to public education. James Martinez for State of Events. Protest organizers say that for things to change, people need to vote on the budget crisis in their local elections. Meanwhile, tuition is expected to double to almost $5,000 by semester by 2012. Back to you in the studio.
The unrest in Egypt did not stop with the fall of the President Mubarak. Now that he's out of the picture, women feel more empowered to voice their opinions. Nancy Garrell joins us from the newsroom with more on the story.
March is National Women's History Month, and in Cairo, Egypt, both women and men are coming together to mark the occasion. Women in Egypt are worried that their voices will not be heard. Many women were left off the committee to revise the constitution. Egyptians held a protest on Tuesday to take a stand for equality. Silence no more. The women in Cairo, Egypt want equality for all Egyptian citizens. Organizers of the Million Women March want to help all Egyptian citizens have fair and equal opportunity, regardless of gender, religion, or class. Several hundred people showed up to the protest. Both men and women came to support the marchers. It quickly turned ugly when anti-feminist demonstrators started yelling and chanting feminist slurs. The protest turned into a screaming match between the two sides. Organizers for the demonstration said on their Facebook page, "The bodies of women, so often used as ideological battlegrounds, have withstood all kinds of police violence. From tear gas to live bullets, the real battleground did not differentiate between women and men. Egyptian women are planning to continue protests until the government recognizes their rights to equality, freedom, and having a say in decisions that will shape the future of Egypt. I'm Nancy Garrels, reporting in the newsroom for State of Events.
San Francisco City Attorney Dennis Herrera is suing a high-profile immigration lawyer, Martin Guajardo. He is accused of fraud. After resigning from the State Bar of California, he continued to charge many Bay Area immigrants for his services without actually representing them. The city of San Francisco has not been able to serve him, and he has not made appearance in court. His properties are reportedly not in his name. Most of it is under his wife's name, who sold 2 of their San Francisco condos. His former law offices is currently closed and will only see clients with appointments.
As promised, we have an update on the SF State cheer embezzlement scandal. Former cheer coach Ashley Haley pled guilty Monday to 12 felony counts of grand theft and 16 counts of obtaining money under false pretenses. Haley's sentence came with an agreement. Prosecutors say it will include 5 days in county jail, 3 years of probation, 200 hours of community service, various fines and fees, along with over $14,000 in restitution. If Haley pays the restitution, the court may lower her conviction. She will be sentenced on April 8th. Coming up, next, find out what are some of the most popular videos on YouTube and why they involve people cutting themselves. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
A Facebook-only news organization, it is only the matter of time. I'll tell you what's happening on social networking websites. That's coming up next on State of Events.
There are many important days in your child's life. Their first birthday, their first big game, their first day of school. Choosing the right school for your child sets them on a path for success. Apply on time. It's for your family's future.
Welcome back to State of Events. Did you know that 70% of YouTube's registered users are right here in the United States?
And half of the YouTube's users are under 20 years old. Many YouTube videos have been viewed over and over again. Amal Hassan has details on how these videos can inform parents.
Thanks, Ali. There are popular videos on YouTube that are getting a lot of attention. Teens and young adults are cutting themselves and uploading the videos on the web. And while this may be a disturbing new trend, it's uncovering an important issue.
More than 100 YouTube videos featuring teens using knives or razor blades to cut themselves have been viewed over 1,000 times. Karen Alonso, a high school counselor, tells us why teenagers tend to do this.
It takes all their emotional pain away, and all they're feeling is the physical pain. So it helps them cope with the emotional pain because all they're focusing on is the physical.
One high school student does not think that YouTube should remove these videos.
There's just so many videos on YouTube, like they can't go and review every single video. It's more like up to us. And we make our own decisions, so.
Counselor Alonso thinks that such videos may be a positive help for parents.
So that they know, check your son or daughter, check their arms, check their inner thighs, because it's not only their arms that they're cutting their inner thighs, they're cutting their toes.
She also encourages parents to check teens' internet history and social network pages.
Counselor Alonso says although the behaviors have been prevalent in girls, she has seen it increasing in males too. Back to you, Ali.
The race to get more eyeballs from social networking users is changing the traditional way of how news organizations operate. State of Events reporter Arina Yamamoto tells us why.
Thank you, Ali. Facebook is much more than just a place where people stay in touch with their friends. It's also a major source of news and a fast-growing way of spreading news stories to a worldwide social network. According to the statistics issued by Facebook, they have more than 5 million active users all over the world.
Just like other businesses, news organizations are trying to join its huge market.
Journalists and news organizations can also gather a lot of information about what's happening in the world using social media. So by searching people's status updates, they can find out what people are doing, what they're saying, what they care about, and pick up news tips that way.
On March 1st, one community news site called the Rockville Central in the Washington, D.C. moved its full operations and news coverage onto their Facebook page. They believe in Facebook's potential of extensive distribution of news stories to the public. Although Facebook is becoming more popular, Professor Beck in the journalism department at SFSU says Twitter is still the main platform for real reporting.
For news organizations is speed. If you want to get the news out quickly to people, something like Twitter is about the fastest way you can do it. Twitter is where news breaks now.
If the speed is the matter, what attracts news organizations to Facebook? It's the application functions within Facebook. Users can comment on and share stories, ask questions, contribute to a calendar, and even post ideas. For now, Facebook-only news organizations are most likely found in local communities. A Facebook spokesperson says they recently set up a position for a journalist program manager to help journalists to use Facebook as their reporting tool. Back to you guys.
An Army explosives technician from San Jose was killed while trying to disarm a bomb last weekend. Relatives say Staff Sergeant Mark Wells stepped on a hidden bomb in Afghanistan on Saturday. He was deployed in August after serving a 14-month tour in Iraq.
Poor management of California's prisons is placing taxpayers into more debt. California prison workers are allowed to rack up to 33 million hours of paid time off. That's almost 6 months' pay for each worker. It also means that up to $1 billion liability for taxpayers. Distracted drivers has been widely publicized and dangerous. Not to mention that it's illegal, but according to a poll released by the Secretary of Transportation, 63% of the drivers under 30 years old admit to using their phone while driving. The poll was taken in November and December by over 1,000 drivers 18 and older. They were asked about their conduct that the other drivers in the last 30 days. 30% said they texted while driving, and 94% say they had seen someone driving while taking on the phone. In response, Secretary of Transportation Ray LaHood has announced partnership with the Consumer Reports. They will aim the young people to realize the safest way to get from one place to another is to hang up and drive.
If you're trying to find something to do this weekend, we have it all figured out. Dahlia Asfour has a variety of options, from checking out the hottest wedding dresses to rocking out. Dahlia?
Thanks, Allie. Have you ever cruised down the streets bumping Bone Thugs and Harmony? If so, then we have the thing for you. You can relive your 90s experience tonight at Yoshi's Restaurant and Jazz Club. For $35, you can relax while listening to their nostalgic hits. Now, are you interested in the latest breathtaking gowns from talented wedding designers? On Sunday, it's a 34th annual Modern Bridal Fair. Come sip champagne while being transported to the chic and glamorous world of America's top wedding fashion. It's just $12, and the ladies will be strutting their stuff at 12:30 and 2:30 at the Palace Hotel in San Francisco. Dreaming big, playing loud, and partying on. Rock of Ages is here and isn't leaving until April 9th. Come out and sing along to this 5-time 2009 Tony Award nominee at the Curran Theater. For those who don't know what it is, Rock of Ages is a rock love story told through the hits of REO Speedwagon, Poison, White Snake, and many more. You can also check out more events going on this weekend at stateofevents.tv.
Big changes are coming here to Stowe Lake and Golden Gate Park, but not everyone's happy about it. Find out why coming up on State of Events.
When it's time to choose healthcare for your child, you want the best. When it's time for an important medical decision, you want a professional you can trust. At Valencia Health Services, your time is well spent. We provide professional quality healthcare. Valencia Health Services, dedicating quality time to every child, every visit. Committed to professional health care because your child's health is our first priority. Valencia Health Services, quality time because we care.
Welcome back to State of Events. With 13 million visitors annually, Golden Gate Park is the third most visited city park in the United States.
Stowe Lake is the largest man-made lake in the park. Operations of the Stowe Lake are about to switch hands. Ashley Larson has the details.
The Stowe Lake Boathouse, which was built back in 1949, is a popular spot for both San Francisco locals and tourists. But later this month, a day at the lake will be a little different for visitors. Pedal boats and carnival snacks, two staples of the Stowe Lake Boathouse in San Francisco's Golden Gate Park. But renovations will be happening at the site in the next few months, and visitors can expect to see some upgrades.
Over 50 brand new American-made boats, paddle boats, rowboats, and electric boats. So that's one of the major upgrades that we'll see very shortly.
Frank Klein works for Ortega Family Enterprises, a New Mexico-based company that recently won a bid from San Francisco's Parks and Recreation Department to take over boat rentals and food service at the lake. In their bid, the Ortegas said they will also bring in an expanded menu at an indoor cafe, new floors, and accessible bathrooms. But these changes aren't coming without a fight. For the past 67 years, the boathouse at Stowe Lake has been run by the McClellan family, and there are a lot of people that are not happy the Ortegas have won the bid.
Their bid was rubber stamped all the way from the beginning, which shocked many of us and shocked the public. And people are still shocked. They can't believe that that's happening.
The McClellan family says they agree upgrades are needed, but we're not willing to invest the money because they have been on a month-to-month lease for the past 5 years. Besides the changes at the boathouse, one of Phone's biggest worries is that a large company won't understand what this place means to the locals.
It's a place to get away. It's just an oasis in the city. And I think a corporation won't get that.
Ortega Family Enterprises is set to take over the lease on March 22nd, but the McClellans are still hoping the city will name the boathouse a local landmark. Even if this does happen, only some of the history at the lake will be preserved.
Anti-leash law protesters are fighting against a new proposal to reduce the area in federal parks where dogs can walk without a leash. The draft proposal cuts the space by at least half at Fort Funston, Ocean Beach, and Crissy Field. It also does not allow any off-leash areas in the remaining 5 San Francisco federal parks. The protesters are encouraging the city to take parkland back from the federal government if the proposal is enforced.
And you might want to check out your Santa Clara County phone contacts. The 408 code has been officially exhausted. This means that the phone customers in the South Bay will be assigned to 669 area code by the end of next year. The California Public Utilities Commission will begin hearings this month to decide if it will get which will get the original 408 and who will become the 669.
San Francisco is supporting small businesses, making the food truck permit process easier. Business owners will still have to get a permit from the Fire and Health Department, but now under the new Mobile Food Facilities Program, they won't have to spend as much money on fees, and they will get more public space. The new program is already popular. Over 30 people have applied since this past Monday.
In Richmond, many foreclosure homes are now targets for illegal trash dumping. The Iron Triangle is struggling to keep the streets clean. Richmond police say it's becoming impossible to keep these houses clean. Almost every time the trash gets cleaned up, an hour later it's replaced with new dumps.
And let's check in with our weather anchor, Angela Musalam. What's the weather like this week?
Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Angela Musalam with your 5-day forecast. It looks like we've got relatively stable temperatures, but it will feel cooler these next couple days with 11-mile-per-hour gusts heading our way from the southwest. It'll be a dry weekend, but not for long, so get out there and enjoy the sun while you can. Highs in the 60s today, and temperatures cooling off to about 48 degrees by nightfall. Tomorrow, we'll see partly cloudy skies, 61 degrees, and it'll continue to go down into the 40s throughout the evening. If you're going out, bring a scarf and some gloves. It will be chilly. Sunday, again, scattered clouds and highs in the low 60s. It'll be the warmest night of the week with a low of 53 degrees. But if you want to bundle up at the start of the week, we're going to see rain showers by Monday, and they'll continue into Tuesday, still maintaining high temperatures in the 60s. Lows at 49 degrees Monday and 51 degrees on Tuesday. That's your 5-day forecast. I'm Angela Musalam. Check back next week for your weekend forecast.
National Geographic is taking inspiration from the movie Up. There is no doubt the movie inspires people to seek out adventure and friendships in unlikely places. But the source for inspiration in National Geographic was not the heartwarming story, it was the flying house. National Geographic project was aimed to recreate the experience of a flying house using balloons with over 300 color weather balloons. National Geographic managed to fly a 16 by 16 house. The flight lasted over an hour and reached about 10,000 feet in the air. For more state of events, find us on the web at stateofevents.tv.
And like us on Facebook at facebook.com/stateofevents.
And don't forget to spring forward this Sunday, March 13th. That is it for this week's State of Events. I'm Brenda Cancino.
And I'm Allie Williams. Enjoy that extra hour of sunshine. See you next week for another edition of State of Events. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.